Siteman Softball Podcast here on December 20th, my friends. I'm David Siteman. It's going to be episode number, I should know what episode it is, number 62. Coming up here in a quick second. I want to make sure we're live everywhere right now. We're in the Siteman Softball Nation Facebook page. We're at, facebook.com/David Garland. We are also on the Siteman Softball YouTube channel. And I'm going to share this, of course, with the boys, the Siteman Pure Boys in our little group chat here. So I always, share to send a messenger. Boom, back from Mexico. That was a fun little live episode last week from Mexico. I'm glad the Wi-Fi was good enough down there, a little family vacation. I was saying today now I feel like I need a vacation from vacation because you go there, you travel. We had a lot going on the trip. So, come back here. I don't know if refreshed is the right word. Loved vacation. Awesome trip to Mexico, but a lot going on here. First of all, happy holiday season to you and yours, regardless of what you celebrate. I know Christmas is around the corner for a lot of people. We actually started Hanukkah here on Sunday night. So tonight is Tuesday night. So that is the third night of Hanukkah. So coming back after a trip and then Hanukkah, it's, a little bit of chaos, but it is all good. But we still have plenty of softball to discuss here on the show. So, by the way, we are live. This is December 20th. Current time is 2:11 Central. So if you have a burning topic or question that you want me to discuss on the show after I kind of go through what I'm going to do, y'all let me know, and I'll do my very best to answer it. Just got back from the gym here a while ago and ready to go here with the podcast. So, right now it's kind of that time of the year where in the Challenge Cup coming up, it's really a good time, family, friends, holidays, all that kind of stuff going on. So there's not a ton going on in the slow pitch softball world, but there are some things going on. And one thing that I found very interesting that I want to hop into podcast here today is you're starting to see some rosters go up online for the 2023 Conference USSSA season. So I'm going to show you what I've found. And then we can kind of talk about that a little bit, and we'll sort of go around there, and then we'll on it as well, and we got a lot to discuss. Now, reminders as we get started here at Siteman Softball on Instagram, Siteman Softball Nation on Facebook. That's all some of the places you can find great Siteman softball content. Of course, SitemanSoftball.com/podcast is all the places you can see all the audio and video and all that kind of cool stuff. You can see all the links, listen in your car, all that jazz. And also, if you go to SitemanSoftball.com, I'll tell you about two other things. Number one, schedule is up. I posted on Facebook, but if you haven't seen it, our schedule is up. So if you go to SitemanSoftball.com, there's a little tab at the top. You can click schedule, and you can see where we're going to be at for the 2023 season. And also, SitemanSoftball.com/store, lowercase S for the store. SitemanSoftball.com/store. You can find all the different swag and apparel that we have going on for Siteman Softball, and proceeds go towards the Siteman Cancer Center. We appreciate them as our featured sponsor. So go to SitemanSoftball.com/store. Get yourself a hoodie. Actually, we don't have a hoodie. Get yourself a track jacket. Get yourself a shirt. Get stuff for the kids. Get stuff for the ladies, for the men, for the babies. We got it all there. SitemanSoftball.com/store. All righty. So let's hop into this a little bit. Good to see everybody. Got Daniel Larson in the house. Good to see you. It's that weird feature here on the chat on the side where I can't see some of the names unless you click this button that I have to share with you on the Facebook group. So let me hop over here so I know who is chatting with us. Let me go over to the Siteman Softball Nation Facebook group. So I see, Daniel Larson. I see Jesse Skaggs. I see Drew Rogers. Awesome, fellas. Good to see you guys. Jesse asked an interesting question here. I'm going to pop it up on the screen, and then we'll kind of get into some rosters and some stuff as well. And like I said, you have any other questions, let me know. So let me see here. So Jesse says, how did the bat bans come about, but then nothing got banned? Was it all just hearsay? Now, I don't have a ton of information on this one, but I can tell you this. I talked to Chris over at Pure. I don't have a ton about that bat ban thing because it was just a rumor going around of different companies. Some companies were throwing out, oh, they're about to lose their stamp, about to lose their bat. I've heard nothing about that, so I can't comment on any of it. No one's either. I mean, there's really nothing that I can report on that because I think it was just a rumor. Now, could that happen? Maybe. But I don't know anything about it, so I can't really comment on it. Now, one thing I could say about this, what's interesting is what USSSA is really trying to get the bat companies to do is, and this is a win, in my opinion, for everybody. And I'll explain this. So what they're trying to do is that the bats, the 240 bats, the spirit of the 240 bats, right, is obviously they could press at over 240. We know this, not a secret. Hopefully they hold compression for a decent amount of time. Some do, some don't, right? But then the key is what they don't is kind of what happened with some of the 220 bats where they never break. They get down to like 180, 160. I mean, you remember some of the old Easton bats, they would get like insanely stupid hot, unsafe hot, and people are out there using those in tournaments, so you have a 220 bat testing at 160 or something, and those were absolutely, ridiculous fire sticks. So the spirit of it, if you will, and now it's being more enforced next year, and they randomly test throughout the year. They'll take people's bats and go test and make sure that the bat that was approved is the bat that's out there. But the idea here is maybe not right when it drops below 240. So I'm not talking about 239, but at some point in a decent scheme, it should break at that point. Now, I know for those that you spending money on bats, you're thinking, well, that's not cool. I want to take it down all the way forever. But you really want a legal bat, especially as they start to enforce this stuff. So I think that's what you're going to see as you move forward here into the season. Now, will that happen? Will the bat companies comply to all that? I don't know. I can't tell you anything about that yet. So I really think it's going to be very interesting to see how it happens. But if it's done correctly, in my opinion, correctly is exactly meaning that they stay above compression for a long time. And once they drop below, they basically break. And tournaments are enforcing bat standards and hopefully testing where, I think it's going to be a good game overall. But we'll see. We'll see how that happens next year. Let's see here. Let's see that. I can even say this without even going over here that was Petrov commenting without even me being able to see it. I just know how Petrov types. So even though it says the most butchered comment ever, let me see where it is right here. Hang on. Here we are. Hang on one second. It says, this is Matt's horrendous comment right here, but I will interpret this for you because I do speak Matt Petrov. So March 10th, we'll probably be going to daily tournaments as a warm-up for the Little Rock area. What he's saying is that we will most likely, still TBD, there's a couple factors on that, but be going to a tournament in the Little Rock area around March 10th. And that is Joey's tournament. He misspelled daily on this one, but that's not daily as in daily. It is in our buddy, Mr. Joey Daly. And so he puts on a tournament. Actually, you did spell that. You just have to capitalize the D. That's pretty good. So he puts on a tournament in Arkansas. We might be doing that one for our warm-up. We're kind of working on that one. We want to do one tournament. Drew's saying it's in Fayetteville. Yep. We want to do one tournament before we get going, obviously, get the season, get everybody together, make sure you don't want to just show up, like I said, at the duel in Florida and say, all right, guys, let's go. We'll be ready to go. We'll get a tournament in before then. It's looking more and more like March 10th, okay? All right, so let's hop that to the screen. And let's hop into something else. I'm gonna show my screen here in a second, and this is kind of cool. Is that let me get this up here for you guys. Here, let me just make sure I'm showing you the right stuff here first. That's the most important thing. I'm gonna go through some rosters here. We're gonna discuss this, and want to get your guys' thoughts on this as well. It's going to be interesting, okay? So let me hit share screen. We're going to allow, and then we're going to, let's see. Wow, that's a hot mess. All right, you guys should be able to see that. Oop, hang on one sec. My fun screens I have going on here, okay? Okay. So what we're going to do here, actually, give me a second. Let me see if I can get this where I could just share part of my screen. Hang on a second. We'll just show the whole thing. Okay, we're going to get into rosters here. And I want to share this with you guys, then we can talk more about it. And I'm going to kind of do a little half screen here so I can see comments on the right side. So if you go to the USSSA website, fun fact, by the way, there's going to be a new website. It says coming out here in January 2023. That'll be interesting to see what that looks like. But let's go to the, for now, the old website. And if you go through here, you can actually see some of the conference rosters that are up, including ours, for the 2023 season. These are the official rosters, right? Now, as of right now, I'll hit refresh on this. There's Conference B teams listed yet. Now, that might be that they haven't signed up yet. It might be they haven't put their roster up yet. It might be that they're listed as TBD somewhere that I can't find. We don't really know. And in fact, I'm not sure what Conference B teams there are going to be this year. So if you're a Conference B team or you know a Conference B team, would be interested to hear what teams will be playing next year in Conference USSSA as a B team. Because I have not heard a ton about B teams for next year. So there's no rosters up here for B teams. Let's scoot over to A, because there are a decent amount of rosters up and partial rosters up for A. Okay, 6 teams as of right now is up for A. As you can see on the screen, we've got Dirty Vegas, we've got Epic, we've got an LSR, TG, Combo, Nitro, Circus. I'm reading just one spot. Epic has a million sponsors. Epic, Haymac, Kiltman's, FLS, Koval. We've got Dirty Vegas Steel, Siteman Pure, your favorite team, Straight Play / Straight Play Apparel, and we've got the B champions from last year, True, moving on up to A, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and click through a little bit of this here, and let me make sure you guys can see this. Yes, you can. You should be able to. There we go. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to maybe read a little bit of these rosters. There's a good chance I'm going to bungle everybody's name. So let's just accept that to begin with, that your name will be bungled if I mention you on here, most likely. And also, a lot of these teams obviously are incomplete at this point. Ours is complete. A couple others are complete, but a lot are incomplete because, you know, here, for example, here's Dirty Vegas. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, hang on, I can't count. 4, what was that? 8, 10 players on here. So obviously they're going to have more because I don't think they're going to play the whole season going Iron Man. I don't know. Could be crazy. But as you can see here, the team right here, I'm not going to necessarily go player by player here, but you could recognize someone here. Cody Shoemaker, great player, played with Addictive last year. Big power guy, moving over to Dirty Vegas. Let's see. We've got Kyle Harmon. He's more of a, I don't want to say local-ish. We always kind of consider Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, sort of our local area. Kyle Harmon coming over to Dirty Vegas. I believe he was with Premier last year. And Miles McGahee, another conference veteran there coming over. So, yeah, you can see their roster here. Again, I'm going to butcher names, but I'm just going to try it anyway. Cody Shoemaker, Ryan Sean Huseman, Robert Banks, Michael Martinez, Levin Chason. We'll just go with Kyle Harmon, Stephen Paramore, Caleb Ladner, James, we'll go with Rachel, I don't know, Miles McGahee here for Dirty Vegas. So I'm sure I butchered probably 96% of those names, but that is the first 10 players up for Vegas, and there will be a Conference A team. Going back here, let's take a look. Just go around the line here. Here's Epic. And I saw our buddy Tyler Neary posting their roster recently on Facebook, and they've got almost close to the world record of sponsors there. We got a lot of sponsors mixed in here, but you can see here what we're looking at for Epic for next year. They're also moving up here to the A level. You can see they added some veterans in. They've got couple players from last year. They got a whole little mix here. But Cody Garrison, Lonnie Garrett Culbertson, Kyle Walden, Michael Thor Brogger, Kylie Ming, Eddie Hutchinson, Sean Ulmer, Robert Lanham, Clayton Farr. Oh, that's a nice pickup right there for them. Oh, he was just added, the 15th. Clayton Farr, he played for Classic Glass. Francis Fisk, Corey Hill, Tyler Neary, Derek Knight. So that's a look at Epic for next year coming up out of Carolina. Moving along here. And actually, a team just went up a little while ago, which I'll get to when we get to AA. The Seminoles just went up today, in fact. Straight play, very good season last year at the B level. And you see what they've got going on. Joshua Jones, he was their pitcher last year, had a great season. You got Isaiah Warlow, who I believe played for, correct me if I'm wrong, Cash House last year, which was, in my opinion, very underrated B team last year, Cash House. We had some good battles with them, and they were a solid team. Jeffrey Redden, Jordan Blanchett, and Stephen Trey Parr. So obviously they're going to have some work to do in terms of who else they're adding to that roster, but that's a start here of straight play. And then obviously we have us up. We don't need to go over us. You know us. But just in case, there we are. You can see all the boys. There they are up there. Siteman Pure, your favorite team, of course. Jagger Hart, William Dooley, Tyler Cookland, Drew Rogers, Luke Boyster, John Brown, and myself, David Bear, Derek Brzezinski, Daniel Larson, Sean Rogers, Brent McClure, Jose Hernandez, Eric Conan, Brandon Keene, Matthew Petrov, Clayton Tony. Then, as we roll through here, the last team to take a look at here, now True won B last year, so auto bump to A. And you can see kind of their team here: Colby Cornelius, Jacob Jalbert, Frederick Lattimore, Jerry Williams, so AKA Sport, who was the shutdown pitcher last year for True, especially at Worlds. And correct me if I'm wrong here, I believe Mr. Jerry Williams, AKA Sport Williams, won B last year and C the year before on the mound. That's something you don't see too often with two different teams as well. Jeremy McDowell, Keon Gaskins, Keandre McGee, Sidebottom, Devin Hill, Tyler Marlette, Patrick Price, Tyler Cobb, Christian Zaglison, Kashawn Smith, Nick Smith, and Philip Hunt, the big man there. So, you know, another good team to watch here because obviously they put it together at the right time last year. And True, I got to see them play a few times. I would like to see them play a little bit more last year, in fact. But what I noticed about their team last year when I got to see them play, which was at the Duel in Indiana, because sometimes you play against teams or see them, you just don't see them throughout the year. Like you're at the same tournaments, but somehow you have the same game times or you're at the complex and you don't see them. But they were a team I did not get to see as much as I would have liked to. But one thing I did notice about True is that what I noticed about them, obviously they got some big guys that can hit the ball pretty well. You know, they've got a good pitcher. But what I noticed is just in general, a lot of athleticism on this team. I mean, we're talking guys that can run, guys that can field, and obviously hitting is part of the game. But you saw just definitely one of the more athletic teams in conference, no doubt. No doubt on that from True. So I expect them to be a solid team in 2023. So those are the 6 A teams that as of now are up on the USSSA website. Now I'm going to scoot over here to AA. And the Seminoles just went up a few minutes ago, I think, or early this morning because I had, and all of a sudden they popped on up here. So first of all, Classic Glass, they do not have their roster. I will check, make sure. Yeah, so their roster's not up yet, so we don't really know who's on Classic Glass, but we'll find out soon. And by the way, I'd love to hear your opinions on some of these rosters. Let me know. What are your thoughts? What teams are looking strong? Who's a sleeper? Who's a big pickup? Be very interested to see what you guys think. So Chick-fil-A here. Got some good buddies on this team. There they are. Zach Sanford, David Durso Jr., Jared Kashner, Cody Collins, Zach Ross, Ricky Moyers, Justin Lutheran, who came over from Baugh Ford, Matthew Brady, who played last year on the Monster Major team, Jacob Clifton, Patrick Center, is it Tanae Alston, John Natoli, Aaron Stidham, and Christopher Eisenach are going to be your Chick-fil-A team. So a couple nice pickups there for Chick-fil-A. Very interesting to see how they do this year. They're always going to have a very solid team that's going to compete. So that I can tell you that. Then let's go to these three teams. To me are very interesting. JBL is a new team, and there's a lot of hype around them coming out. AA team, very strong. The Seminoles, who are reloading, and Sports Reach, who are reloading this year. So this is kind of an interesting situation. Let's start with JBL. Very, very strong. Very, very strong roster here, okay? First of all, guy who lives here locally, a local fella from the St. Louis area, great guy, Orlando Oliveira, who played last year, of course, with your major World Series champion, MPT Rentals. And this team, I mean, is just very solid top to bottom. I mean, this team's going to compete. Orlando Oliveira, William Scott, Fred Heiser, John Radich, another staple of MPT, Jared Poling, David Johnson, a.k.a. Laser Dave, who was on Bay Area last year, and again, another tremendous player in the conference. Jonathan Dombrowski, now great pitcher, did not play much last year. I want to say he played early on in the season with MPT, and then a little bit. I don't even know if he actually played in a tournament last year. I have to look back on that. But then MPT did some pitching changes, brought in Pinkham, things like that. But I can tell you right now, Dombrowski is a very, very underrated pitcher. That low delivery, that low mooch delivery, if you will. And then he's a great glove as well. So, and he kind of has like an awkward style. It's very uncomfortable out there. So that's going to be a big one. I mean, if you're going to be successful at AA, yeah, you got to hit the ball, and yeah, you got to be able to hit it with power. But great pitching is going to maybe separate some of these teams as well. Steven Edwards, a big year last year, I believe, with Proton. Ryan Ropel, Adam Ussery, who was with Proton last year, Brady Stewart, Eric Snyder, Brian McBride, Brock Frenzel. I mean, these are all veterans here. Bill Lewis, Michael Williams, very on there as well. Michael Williams coming out of prime time. Very, very good player. Catches everything in the outfield. Can hit for average and power, especially as not one of the giant guy. He can hit it out as well. So this team is very, very solid top to bottom. A lot of players on this team at varying capacities, though, that played major last year or the year before or both. So it's a very interesting team. This is definitely one to keep an eye on as we get into the AA next year. Then, that's the JBL D1 night. Let's take a look at Seminoles. They just came up, I want to say today. Let's see if I'm right on today. Yeah, 12/20. That's today. So all these guys were added today to the Seminoles. So, Seminoles last year started hot in the season, had some struggling a little bit, couldn't quite get back on track, almost then made it to the major. So, that this is a great team with great management and a lot of pride. They're going to come back very strong this year. So Justin Beal, Elijah Christensen, Matt Corcoran, Chris Hansen, John David Harris, Jared Kennemer, Toby Letak. I like to consider him, again, a local guy. Side of Missouri, great guy there, great player, played with Bay Area, great on both sides of the ball. Also great dude. Ricardo Lizcano, Nick Ludwig, Robert Lundy, Chris O'Brien, Oliver Odell. All right. Michael Ortiz, Chauncey Sumner, Zane Trammell, Judd Wilkie. So this is kind of a new look Seminoles for next year. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out for those guys. Then our final team, and they've been kind of adding people. I don't know if this roster is complete or not. My guess would be that it's not, based on the amount of players I see on here. They're probably going to be adding some. But Sports Reach, interesting team. So last year, Sports Reach was a AA team that just couldn't really get out of the gates last year. And this is a storied program with a lot of history and a lot of winning. And they'd be the first to tell you that last year was a bit of the struggle bus for them on the AA level. And so they retooled, and retool they did this year. I mean, this team looks very different than it did, and I think it's going to make a big difference. I mean, Brandon Jonas sticks out right away, right here, right? That's a big, big picture for these guys at Sports Reach. But you got, Austin, is it Mapes, William Andrews, Jeff Keski, Jason Gilfillan, Robert Blackburn, Dagmar Pena, Tyler Wilson, another big pickup there, Tyler Kalki, Robert Fow, Brandon Jonas, Brad Sheffield, Travis. This is a very new look Sports Reach that I think is going to be, again, very interesting team to watch. A lot of skill. The AA division this year is going to be very interesting because I think there's going to be a lot of AA teams. There's just going to be more. And I think it's going to be very interesting. Is there going to be a leader that comes out of the pack in this right away? I don't know. And I think the team that we're all waiting for to come up is the team that has been rumored to have people like Jason Branch and some of the other kind of guys that played at high level, that it's a team that's coming together. And I think that team's going to be very interesting to see once that roster comes out. Word is they're going to be very loaded. Don't know exactly who's on the team. A lot of rumors, but we shall see. But the AA division next year, I think it's going to be a really, really interesting one to watch and look forward to playing against as well. So, that's a good measuring stick for us coming in as an A team. We'll be plenty of AA teams. And the difference, of course, when you play a AA team is 2 home runs. So it's not anything drastic, but we get 12 as an A team. We're going to get 14 when you play a AA team. So that's going to be very, very interesting. Next up, and not least, any means, my friends, we've got the majors. Now, Canada West accidentally signed up here. I think they meant their Challenge Cup team, so we're just going to ignore them. God bless them up in Edmonton. So Canada West, that's not a major team, I don't believe, next year. That's a Challenge Cup team. Unless I'm wrong and there's some kind of fun surprise about that with Canada West. Let's see. All right, so then we've got MPT Rentals. Okay, let's go with them. The champs in the house. The champs in the house here. Now, again, this is their roster online, and I got to tell you, this roster, what's a roster? This roster is loaded. I mean, I think it's very difficult to say there's a better roster out than this. That doesn't mean they're going to win everything. Doesn't mean they're going to win every game. Doesn't mean they're going to win the major. But on paper, and that's what it is on paper, this is a very, very, very strong team. I don't know exactly where certain things might go with this team. Of course, there's rumors about, we don't know. Obviously, Daniel Caton here is on the roster. A couple teams are saying, hey, between him and Monster, I don't really know what's going on there behind the scenes. I don't know what we're going to see out on the field this year, but hopefully everyone can work that out. I think the sport is best when we can have, our best players out there, and hopefully everything's done up and up, and whatever happened there, I don't know exactly what, it gets worked out, and, it's all good. We don't know. But let's go by the roster here. Don Walsh, who played great for MPT last year, by the way, and more of a reserve up-and-coming role. Jeff Roxby, obviously a monster there. Andrew Collins, Chris Aninos, Jonathan Williams, Bill Pinkham, Orlando Castillo, who was named captain of MPT, Daniel Caton, Mark Carucci, of course, the godfather there, Flip Washington, Ryan Harvey, Dale Brungart, Josh Kirsten, Arjun Dodds, JoJo Bennett. I mean, this team, whew, that's a tough. I mean, you look at this roster, that is an absolute loaded, so loaded. In fact, I get nervous about how Mark's going to manage this team, because there is a bunch of riches here and a lot of stars on this team. I don't know where everyone exactly plays, who's on the bench, who does this or that, but man, on paper, this is a tough team right here. This is a tough team. And since I'm saying that, I'm sure we're going to get them like in the first game in the duel or something like that. So maybe not the first game, second game. Second game, we'll somehow play MPT. We'll see how that goes. But this is a very, very solid team. I mean, I don't think anyone can make an argument against that. But again, this is all preseason stuff. All preseason stuff. Let's go over here to our other major team that is up, and that is Resmondo. So retooling year for Resmondo. I mean, they expect X every year. I don't think they were happy. I mean, last year was an interesting season for Resmondo. They got bit early on by a couple bugs that you don't want to get bit by. Bug number one was the injury bug. Never a good bug. And bug number two was the suspension bug, which were good either. And that combination was a lot of roster movement, and they never quite got out of the gates last year for such a good team. I mean, a good team, storied program, meaning what I mean by getting out of the gates is that it seemed that they were chasing a lot of the year. Then they got healthy, and then, it didn't quite work out for the end for them. But as always, a very talented team and a first-class run program here by Brett Helmer. And you know that they're thinking, hey, we're not happy about our finish at the major. That's all they care about. And they're going to be coming flying out this year. A lot of veterans on this team. A lot of veterans. I wouldn't call it a youthful team, right? I wouldn't call it infused with youth. And I would say that this is a veteran, nasty team right here. Tyler Mashburn, Bradley Jones, Kevin Bazat, Bradley Reckert, Nick Santana, Kyle Pearson, Chad Mullins comes over from Proton, Phil Mapp, Kyle Overstreet, Scott Hartling, who came in towards the end of the year for those guys and did a great job. Brett Helmer, of course, who's the coach, Corey Briggs, Greg Cannell, Travis Clark, another coach, Mike Manning, Josh Riley, Buddy Wolf. So also dipping into that kind of smash it bucket. This is a team, don't overlook this team. I mean, by any means. I mean, this is a team of guys that know how to win. And guys have been doing it for a long, long, long time. So that is a look at Resmondo next year. So those are the rosters that we have up right now. Let me quit my screen sharing thing here so I can come back on and we can chat about this a bit. Let's see. What do I do here? There we go. Okay, I'm back. So that's a look at what we got here. People say, Tommy, let's see. On the rumor mill, Tommy Melton is playing for Sports Reach also. That's a nice pickup for them. I don't see him on the roster yet, but thanks for letting me know. That would be another solid, two-way player there for Sports Reach. I want John, Caton, and JoJo on the infield together. Yes, that would be a filthy infield. It's going to be it's funny that I was talking about this on Hit and Sit a couple of weeks ago, that John Williams is he's an underrated defender over there. Especially, I know he played shortstop, major. That's not necessarily his natural position, but as a third baseman, I've always told the big guys that play third base, watch him. Watch him. He's not just some big guy you stick over there and hope to God he gets the ball. I mean, he's got great hands and feet, especially for a big guy over there. Takes away hits all the time. He's known, obviously as a hitter, but his defensive ability is way underrated over there. I said that, and I've seen that firsthand. And I think that was let's just put it this way: confident move. You wouldn't put someone that can't defend at shortstop during the Major World Series and win the darn thing, right? So that's where you're at with it. And so that's a look at top to bottom as of December 20th. What it looks like on the conference, roster page. Now, that's going to change, obviously, as more and more teams are added. It's going to be very interesting. We don't know where a lot of people are playing. There's a lot of mystery that goes out there, but I can tell you right now that things are starting to shape up, and obviously in the first couple months of the year, they'll shape up even more. So I want to know from you guys, who looks strong? Who looks like they improved a lot? Who got a big signing? Just interested to know in your guys' thoughts, who might be underrated? Who are people skipping over that team next year? Is there anything that you guys know about coming out of it? And also, would be interested to hear from you if you know any new conference teams or other teams that are going to be playing next year. Would love to hear that as well. You can always drop that in the comments section, my friends. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone tuning in here. Another live episode of the Siteman Softball Podcast. Really got to go in depth here and do some roster stuff and have a lot of fun with it. I'll be around on Facebook for after show comments and things like that. Reminder, SitemanSoftball.com/podcast, at Siteman Softball on Instagram, and Siteman Softball Nation on Facebook. And thank you to our sponsor, Siteman Cancer Center. Remind SitemanSoftball.com/store. You can get gear with proceeds going to the Siteman Cancer Center. All right, my friends, have a fantastic holiday. We'll be back at it next week. It's going to be that weird time of the year where, actually, in this case, Hanukkah's ending. Christmas is over. We're almost before New Year's. It's time where everyone's just kind of running around all messed up on sugar and God knows what after the holidays. So we'll talk next week. We'll have some fun with it. See you next time.